What is going on, y'all? It's your boy HazyRome, and we have a special episode of Get Coins or Die Trying today for y'all.
Very special.
I'm here with my man DeepBoyce. You hear him? He's hyped. He can't get. My man is interrupting me during my own intro.
I'm sorry. I want to dive into this as quickly as possible. There's so many questions.
So many questions, man. But who's the man of the hour, DeepBoyce? Who's the person that's going to be joining us on this special episode of Get Coins or Die Trying, man?
It is Tom Taylorson, who is voicing Scott Ryder in the upcoming Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. That's what's up, man.
Well, thanks for having me,
man.
guys. Yeah.
Thank you for coming through, dude.
Sure, man.
Thank you for coming through, man. Tell us about yourself, man. Like, just give us a lowdown. Who is Tom, man? Who is the man that we're speaking to today?
How far back you want to go? I mean, it's been a while.
I mean, from birth, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want your whole genealogy, man. Where you're from, everything. Ancestors, all that.
Yeah, I'm originally from northwest suburbs of Chicago. I grew up. I grew up out there, and went to university in Illinois, whole 9 yards. Moved up to Chicago to become an actor, right? Do that thing, right? And wormed my way into voiceover, voice acting. Chicago, mostly a commercial town, but doing some video games in my time there too. And so in doing that, slowly the whole theater thing like fell away, and voice acting took over. And then about 2 years ago, my wife, as part of my wife and kids complement team, my wife and I, we were driving to Iowa to have Thanksgiving with the family, and we just kind of had this moment, and we realized we probably need to move to have her career pick up. She was finishing some her second grad degree, and things in Chicago had not really stagnated, but I was doing like 3 or 4 different things, which are all great, to kind of be where I was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago prior, just doing one thing. Sure. And it's like, well, where's the future? Well, nobody knows how to spend money anymore for advertising, so that's not really a thing anymore. But you know what? Between YouTube and Amazon and Netflix and all this stuff, there's a lot of content out there. And you know where they make content? New York and LA. and that kind of slipped into my wife's work and her career. And we just had this realization, oh no, after we set ourselves up and did all this stuff here, we probably need to move. So so we pick up with the dogs and 2 kids and wife, and leave the house and everything like that, and moved to Los Angeles a year and a half ago. And about 3 months after I showed up, not knowing what to do and worried about picking up, I had an agency that was really great out here working with me, but 3 months later, suddenly this Mass Effect thing shows up. And I've been working on that on and off for a little over a year now.
Okay.
Amid other things like that, amid audiobooks, which I've been doing for 4 years now. Is it 5 years? Something like that. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the real glib kind of explanation of it, but that's literally how I got here, of all places, California.
California, man. I mean, that's, wow. So, I mean, you just up and moved your life, and then Mass Effect kind of just fell into your lap. I mean, you had the audition, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the process like? I mean, how was there an ad in the paper like, new just in, space traveler wanted for a video game role? Like, how did you,
right?
How did you
Craigslist,
find it?
The Craigslist, right?
Yeah.
No, something like that comes out to all the agencies in the area, and they'll canvas different towns, cities, wherever they're looking. So they had actually sent out a number of roles. Some of those parts and those characters have been announced in the game yet. Some of them haven't. And so my agent here just sent me a dump. They've been really cool about sending me a variety of different things to audition for.
Sure.
And especially at that point when I was new to town, they were just throwing me at everything, just seeing what sticks, trying to find me as I'm trying to find them, and work out. It's like, what do you do? Or what do you guys do? And find something like that. So just sent everything to me, and I'm just going down the list of everything. And you just audition. It's audition like any other, but I do remember having auditioned for a number of years ago for Mass Effect. Was it 2 or 3? Vega?
Mm-hmm.
Is that 3?
That was 3.
Oh, yeah. That was Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character?
Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I remember auditioning for that, and I've seen it because in teaching and other things, I've seen what BioWare scripts look like when they print them out for auditions. And so that audition comes in, and I'm looking at the sheet and the descriptors and things like that. And they try to hide stuff a little bit, but at the bottom it's got like the watermark saying, copyright BioWare Incorporated. Don't talk about this, please.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and the references and everything else. I'm thinking, this is Mass Effect. Holy crap, this is Mass Effect. Okay. And it's night because I had to get this out. I had something else the next day, and I just got the kids to bed, and I'm looking at like 6 or 7 auditions and going, all right, I'm running on empty right now. Let's put some stuff in the can. But I find something like that really kind of energizes me too. So I finish like good auditions or whatever it is, or a good session, and I'm just up. It's like the old theater days, curtain would happen at like 10:30, and it's 11:30 or 12, and you're still awake because it just, that energy, it just feels amazing.
Yeah.
And so I just cranked through all of these auditions, and one of them was for this one part. And I just tried everything. I just threw everything against the wall. It's like, okay, I know this is this. Okay, I got to try this. Oh, this is one of these. Okay, I got to do this. And this is a human. Okay, I think I know what this guy's going to do, and bring my own thing.
So you're saying when you audition, I guess you try to give several interpretations of the character, or what you think the character should be?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Kind of optional. Sometimes they'll say, hey, we want a couple different things. And sometimes if you have like 2 really distinctively different versions, do it. Bring 2. Absolutely bring 2. But most of the time, if you really like analyze it and think about it, you've got one that's just, this is mine. This is my version of it. Nobody's going to do it quite like this. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, yeah.
And you bring that and you go, yep, that's my at bat. I'm this is what I'm going to give right now in this moment. This is the best thing. And you send that. You don't send the crap version. You send the best version out there. Yeah. And and put your version of the play, as it were, out there. And if that agrees with everybody else, and they go, yeah, let's play together, then wonderful. And just so long as you don't fault yourself for thinking, I could have done better, I could have this, make sure you just bring your A game every time.
Sure.
And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's not. And many times it just has nothing to do with you at all. And that's the hardest thing to keep perspective-wise.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're too tall. Sometimes you're too short. Sometimes you sound too much like the person they've already cast. Right?
Yeah.
And even if you did something wonderful, they go, they sound too much like this. I can't do. We can't use them. Darn.
Yeah.
And that's what happens every time. Good.
I'm sitting here like, I don't think I could cast you in Uncharted or anything like that, because you and Nolan North, to me at least, sound very similar. I'm sitting here like, just from the bits of Ryder, right? Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah. Like in the session, every now and then there's like that one line or something comes up, and I'll do it, and I'll see it. I'll see my director and the engineer on the other side of the glass like shaking their heads and laughing. I say, what? And they say, no, it's just the line is. I got a bad feeling about this. And that's right from Uncharted, and you sound like Nolan when it happens. It's not a problem with you. It's just that, and I'm thinking, that is why I have never been on Blazing the Monster Machine. It's just, I will do whatever I can to modulate and change it up and run away from Nolan. But, the character of Ryder, there's a little bit, at least male Ryder, there's a little bit of that, of the Nathan Drake in him. Right? It's the I have to be a hero now. What? Okay. There's a lot of that. I think Mac Walters from BioWare has said, like, there's Shepard was a hero becoming a legend, and this is
a dude and a dudette, struggling to take on the mantle of leader and finding that and that kind
of Pathfinder.
Yeah, right. And coming of age and taking on that, and what's that like, and how's that story?
Sure.
How do they navigate that? And so I think there is a little bit of that everyman hero in the male and female Ryder characters, and so yeah, it's going to come out. I don't know, that's like Nolan, because he just hits that. he just nails that. He really, really nails that. And so, and then when I get into like the Ryder placement, there's just something kind of Nolan Northy about it,
Yeah.
And that's just what happens. So okay, so yeah, I probably, unless I'm like his like long lost twin, I don't think I'll be working with Nolan anytime soon, unless I'm like replacing him for something. Like he's unavailable and we need these 5 lines, right? That kind of thing.
So you said you were looking through the I guess the audition for the character of Vega, and you recognized that this is Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So at that time you had already played Mass Effect 1 or 2. So
all of them. Well, at the time of seeing
it was
Vega,
1 and 2, yeah.
At the time of seeing that, oh yeah. So I knew this was the third one coming through, and I was in Chicago at the time. And so that said to me, if they were auditioning in Chicago, they were casting a pretty wide net.
Really?
To find that. There was something they were looking for. They weren't sure what it was. Holy crap. And I don't remember if it was casting or if it was once the game had come out, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. as Vega. And I had this moment of, the actor? And I was like...
You feel like as if you were intruding into, I guess, different territory.
Well, in a certain sense, like, well, that was never going to happen. He's got some name and recognition, and I'm thinking, well, how's that? That doesn't seem fair. And then I was like, and I knew his work, and I'm thinking, how's that work? And then I played the game, and I went, Vega's a dude, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I can approximate that, but that is in his wheelhouse. That is just he has that in his gut, in his soul, and it comes out brilliantly. And you just go, and I just was listening to him work, and I just went, "Yep, he nails that." Colin Shepard, Lola, and that kind of thing. It's just, yep, he nails that. Like I never in a million years would have been able to hit that. So props to him.
He also, he's bilingual, right? I think he is. I'm pretty sure he speaks Spanish, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
he does. His father was Puerto Rican.
Right.
Yeah.
But he kind of has like a dude bro way of saying like certain things in Spanish in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So could you do some, like, do you speak Spanish? Because I could totally tell BioWare they got the wrong choice. If you could hit us with some dope Spanish words right now, tell them Vegas should have been you.
No, you want to know who can speak some dope Spanish words to right now? Frida Wolf. You get Frida to come back.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
do the interview with you. Female writer, she's bilingual. God damn it. I'm not bad.
Yeah.
She's gifted. She's something else.
We might need your help to get her, man.
Yeah, I'll tell her. Yeah, I'll forward you guys' information along. No, Frida's amazing. Frida is amazing. I remember when I first started talking to her and kind of like, we were friends online and whatnot before I moved out here.
Yeah.
I plugged her work to my students because of what she had done to transition from game development and sound design to voice acting, and the path that she took and the work that she put in to put herself into the places and the positions that she's managed to obtain. Utmost respect. It's like, that's work. And it's not just work, but it's smart work. It's not just beating your head against the wall. It's doing the right things in the right time and saying, I got to shore this up. I'm not strong here. It's like, I can do this, but I'm not strong. Okay, I'm going to learn how to be strong here. And I'm going to, build that. And she's done that brilliantly.
So, yeah. So you and Frida are brother sister duo in the game. She plays Sour Rider, you play Sky Rider.
Yes.
Have you guys? I mean, this can go for Clancy Brown too, who plays Alec Ryder, your in-game dad, if you will. Have you guys gotten close, like a family or anything like that? You know, outside of the recording studio, or even inside the recording studio?
No. So in the studio, I met Clancy for the first time. It was 2 days ago, and it was mostly in passing. He was on his way out, I was on my way in, and that's a gentleman I've been watching like all my life, right?
Yeah,
since he's
a throwback and a half.
Yeah. So part of it, I saw him. I really remember him popping for the first time when I was a kid, as sort of kid, but seeing him as I forget the character's name, but the lead penitentiary guard in Shawshank Redemption.
Captain Brian Hadley.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was Byron Hadley. Byron Hadley. Yup.
And there's just this, because there's something about him that it just, holy crap, he stands out, and he was brilliant in there, and I'm following there, and then of course there's some of his voice work, and he wound up playing Lex Luthor and a bunch for a long time, long running things,
the animated series. Yep.
And then of course for the past more than a decade, that's Mr. Krabs. You know what I mean? And so so just impact. So part of me, as he's just kind of stepping out, he's finishing up, he's just kind of waving and saying hi to us, and I'm there with Frida and director Josh, and was like, "Hi, sir, how are you?" And in the back of my head it says, "It's Master Krabs." You go over and you grab your phone and you take selfies, right? But he was so just kind and wonderful that it was as though someone's dad had walked into the room and just said hi. He was just so kind and just giving and saying hi to everybody. It's just so cool, absolute utter class.
Yeah. So,
and then Frida and I, sometimes we'd run into each other. I would be coming in, she'd be going out, vice versa. So I never really worked with anybody. They had a theory, maybe we would have Scott and Sarah do like some of their stuff like together. Never worked out that way. And that's the case for the whole process, is you don't work with any other actor in the whole thing.
Wow.
Ever. Wow. And then, well, the funny thing is, and I'll probably wind up telling this story a number of times over the course of the next few months or however long. Frida and I.
The important thing is we hear the story first.
That's right. Frida and I knew each other before this game.
Okay.
Frida and I worked, quote unquote, together on Octodad, Dadley's Catch.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am Octodad and all of the non-player character men. Frida is the daughter and all of the non-player character women.
Huh.
And so we knew each other via internet years ago. And so we had built kind of a relationship and a friendship online over the course of years. And then when this LA move happened, Frida was wonderful in just being a friend. As I would set things up, I would come out to visit the agency and we'd meet for lunch or something. Just somebody to bandy ideas off of and occasionally check in with. Frida's been wonderful. And her different background and other things like that as a performer also has been invaluable. Her insight. She's just different. She's a very different soul and a different influence than I was used to having around me as an actor and people like that, and as somebody who I respect immensely personally and professionally. So we knew each other for a long time, and then about last September, October. Take a drink of water, huh?
No problem.
Yeah, I've been guzzling water myself. Parched.
So last September, October, she calls me. She's driving home. She's stuck in traffic, and we're trying to figure out an opportunity to meet up again, just to say hey. And she said, "Yeah, I'm finishing up something over at this particular studio." And I said, I'm going to be at the particular studio the next day. And she says, I wonder if we're working on the same game. And Frida, because of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements,
Sure,
Frida's
sure.
like, all right, let's play a game. Let's play the game of, are we working on the same game? And Frida says something along the lines of, is your game a long-running series in space? Right? And I said, yes. And I said, all right, wait, are you being directed from Canada? And she says, yes. And so we're like, okay, awesome. We're working on the same game. Awesome, awesome.
Man.
So 3 minutes later or something like that, Frida just stops. She just stops the conversation. She goes, no. She says, I can't do it. Here. You can keep a secret, right? You can keep a secret, right? I'm the female player character of the next Mass Effect.
Frida, you're breaking the NDA, right?
She just dumps it. She's like, just keep the secret. I'm the female player character of the next Mass Effect. And I'm sitting in my booth. I just finished working some audiobook stuff, and I said, well, Frida, I'm the male player character in the next Mass Effect. And
that is an awesome story.
And
man.
then it's about 5 minutes of shut up. Shut up. Of us just going, what kind of serendipitous insanity.
Yeah, the world's crazy.
Right, just happened.
Small world. Man.
And so we're sitting on this for a year. We came up with our own code word for the project when we're talking to each other about it.
Mm.
How was work on Burrito yesterday? And then and we're sitting here though, having worked on Octodad and gotten pretty close with that team that made that game. It's a very special game to us.
Yeah.
So we had this whole year of sitting on this secret, thinking it's gonna blow their minds. The Octodad team, the young horses, are gonna flip when they find this out. So yeah, it's been a year-long secret until N7 Day. So it's a bit of a relief to be able to kind of discuss at least our involvement and have that out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the young horses flipped. The Twitter lights up, and they're just going, "Wait, what the hell just happened?" Like, yeah, you guys got in on the ground floor, right?
No.
Good casting, guys.
I mean, literally when they announced, you and Frida Wolf as the main characters for Mass Effect, I was on Twitter at the time. Immediately, I was like, follow. I was like, I want to stay up to date with you because I'm like, these two. I mean, I'm gonna be hearing your voice all the time, basically, because I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna play 80 hours of it. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna be your third sibling.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and that's the amazing thing about being a part of this project is that I knew the fan base and the fandom that was out there,
Sure.
and that outpouring from that community of support and things like that has been wonderful. Because I'm sure you saw that tweet very early on when the press kind of picked up on the announcement.
I did,
and it was
I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clancy Brown, yay! Ladies and gentlemen, Frida Wolf, yay! Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Taylorson. Say what? The hell you... Octodad? That even a game? Hey, Dave! Is that a game? That's not a real game. iPad, right? So, and I've got other credits, but I've been in Chicago, and those kind of opportunities to do other work, they weren't there. And I think until the kind of indie game explosion in the last 4 or 5 years in Chicago, the AAA, the bigger games, all left town somewhere in mid to late aughts, as it were, and so the indie game thing, grew in its absence. And you've got some really great game development programs at a number of different universities there, pumping out these brilliant people like the Young Horses team. Those guys are from DePaul, and so I had worked on the Conduit, the first-person shooter on the Wii. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and
really?
The first video game I ever did was Dao Fang, the Fist of Lotus. It was the first fighting game on the original House a Small Family Xbox.
Wow.
Right? with the controller that you put wheels on it. You can that family can drive it around.
Yeah.
So, and funny thing about that was the opportunity that was directed by John Tobias, part of Mortal Kombat creation. John Tobias and Ed Boon. So I'm working with John Tobias on that. And it was wonderful time, great time working on that game. Get to doing a wide variety of things, and then years later meet and work with, even if ever so briefly, then work with Ed Boon on a Mortal Kombat game, and that was so cool. That was very cool. So yeah, I've been out there working, obviously, making a career out of this in Chicago, but there was no notoriety behind it. And Frida's got an excellent resume with a wide variety of stuff, and she's still got more stuff coming out all the time. And she just had that head start on me. So I joke and I laugh because it is pretty funny. And it's like, yeah, but I'm playing with this gang for a reason, I guess. And it's been a blast, absolute blast.
That's awesome, man. That was a story and a half though with you and Frida, man. I'm just that blows my mind that something like that could just happen like that, man. And then you have to hold that secret for a year. Like how? Like I couldn't do that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I got Final Fantasy 15 a couple days early. Like I was like a schoolgirl. I was telling everybody. I mean, NDA, but I was like, "Oh, mom, guess what? I just picked up Final Fantasy 15." She's like, "Why? What's that?" I'm like, "It's a video game." And what is this? Final Fantasy 15. Get to your books. Study.
Yeah. Right.
But amazing, man.
Road trip. What? Video game about road trip?
So you mentioned something earlier about you guys not seeing each other. So you guys aren't in a booth together at all? You guys just go in solo and record by yourselves?
Yes. So originally everything was done, you had like Excel spreadsheets and thousands of pages of Excel spreadsheets of your lines. And this is the way like the first Mass Effect was done and everything before that. And BioWare has since come up with software to implement their dialogue. So you're in a big room, and you've probably seen this in some other people on YouTube with, real voice actors doing interviews and things for other games. And you're in a good-sized room with a big old TV screen, and it's got your lines up on it. And they're able to, like, scroll down and hit your lines. And sometimes, I would say, especially early on, more often than not, restart. More often than not, there is nobody else. You have nobody else's lines in there. So the director or whomever reads the other character's line to you, and you react to that. There you go, and that's it. And you pop through the script and get a couple options, things like that, and that's how it's done. And then later on in the process, when you've recorded more characters, every now and then, you'll come in and you'll hear the other actor playing one of these other roles, and it's awesome. Even if it's like Merchant Number 5. Just to have that little bit and hear what they bring is amazing. And I specifically remember a couple different scenes with some of the companion characters and even some of the ancillary characters.
Yeah.
Just ripping through the script because it was what they were giving was so excellent. It was just easy to play off of. But at the same time as you have that, you will have this is a script of 40 reactions to you picking things up in the field. And the first one is, I could use this.
So I guess
look, here's another battery. We can use this battery back on the Nexus.
So I'm assuming that's probably the more difficult part of the process, or maybe when you have to do the grunts and this is when you die. This is when your head blows up. This is when you get shot from the back. This is when you get shot from the front.
No. All right. Well, I mean, everything winds up being its own special thing. My director, Josh, one of the many wonderful, absolutely wonderful directors that I work with. I want to make sure that I plug him and give him his full name and everything like that. Here.
Absolutely.
Plug whoever you want, man.
Oh yeah.
Take your time.
Plug away.
But yeah.
Plug away, man.
But Josh Dean, whom I've worked with most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Josh.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh.
But so Josh, deliver stuff back and forth, and we had this one day in which we did a litany of reactions to stuff, and then one where we were doing a bit of dialogue to other things, and then switching. It's like, now you're on this planet, now you're on this planet, now you're on that planet, now you're talking to this person, and he referred to it as the voice actor decathlon, which is that. It's like, you're on this planet and you're talking to merchant number 2, and you say these things, and then you end wheel, and you're done with that conversation. Okay, now we're on another planet talking to another merchant about something else. Okay, now you're asking this question. Okay, now we have to fix this one line in this conversation that you recorded 3 months ago with PB because it just didn't work out quite right, or something like that happened, or they changed the dialogue because it wasn't flowing right. Okay, that's the voice actor decathlon. And then we went through 40 reactions to, and it wasn't just like picking things up. It was just stuff that could pop anywhere as you explore on planets. So it was anything from finding something to there are bad guys to helping somebody. It was totally random, but it was just 40 lines of bump, 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 bump. And he said, well, okay, that's the voice acting marathon, where you just tear through this stuff and how much can you get out and get out accurately in this time period. And each just has its own very individual challenges and sense of fun to all of it. I adore this. There's a lot of, I enjoy voice acting in general, as a job, as an art, and I've been really lucky to do a variety of things, from audiobooks to medical narration, commercials, video games, and I love each and every bit of it. But there's something special for me about video games, partly growing up and being a video game player and nerd myself, and then part of it because of the opportunity to, okay, now it's a marathon, can you get through this today? And here's this, and now awkward sex scene, and now screaming and bleeding and dying, and it's just, there's nothing like it. It really, and so when you get people who are really good, utmost respect to those people. They call them back for a reason,
Sure.
Because it's amazing work to be able to put that together, and with, as we're saying, nobody else in the room. So there's very little context for some of this work.
It's funny you say that. I mean, because often when you play in a game, I'm thinking about what the characters are saying as what the voice actor's work is. But you make an interesting point by saying the sex scenes, the grunts, like all these little things, like that comes from you too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I don't even know how I would even get in the mindset of doing that. Like, how do you get in the mindset before you walk into the booth and say, okay, I'm going to to get into character, if you will. And it's even hard for, Mass Effect game, because, I mean, if your character, as you said before we started recording, is based on the choices of the player. So how do you prepare yourself to go into the booth and, for lack of a better way to say it, become, Scott Ryder?
Well, I think some of it comes down to casting. A lot of times, and you have something where it's sort of close to home, or at least in theory, your initial audition came through and there was something in there that were like, yep, they get it. In that 60 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is that they hear, they go, yep, that person gets it. That's my dude. And if it's cast right, everything flows from there. There's not so many challenges. And I've been in roles in plays and things where it was a challenge and that director didn't have me back. And that was no fault of me or her or anything like that. And I auditioned for her again. But it was okay. Whatever she was trying to communicate was not hitting me in the right way. And while I understood kind of intellectually what she was trying to have me to bring to this character and this particular play, it wasn't working to her satisfaction, to fit her vision. So we got along and it worked well together, but that didn't click. So yeah, it wasn't a good fit. But when it does fit, there's not as much of that work, and so I think. And in something like video games where it is go, 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 that casting is ever more important. So that thought process, there was some discussion early on of the character and what that means, and there was a lot of things that were discovered through what the incredible writing team at BioWare had put together. So the writing does a lot of that work, and that just clicks and it comes out. And then the other thing is the directors kind of having a really good sense of the scenes and the characters and how things play. Like, oh, this is early in the game, so Ryder's less sure of himself. Okay, this is late in the game. You can be a little more in charge here. And so there's a lot of that back and forth. Otherwise, the best kind of mental preparation you can have is flexibility, because you don't necessarily know what you are going to get into until you get in there that day. So, plenty of water, vocal health, caffeine, whatever it is you need to do to, get yourself ready mentally and physically to do whatever the game's going to throw at you that day. Because, I don't even know if I'm at liberty to say how many sessions there's been. But there's a lot of sessions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sessions.
There's a lot of dialogue in those games, man.
A lot.
Yeah. And we were talking about that with some of the production team earlier this week. And Frida was saying, more than 2 sessions, that's a rarity. So, what we've been able to do and being a part of Mass Effect, a treat, absolute treat to have this kind of repeat thing and then to be able to explore something. I mean, I was putting the hours in tallying up the hours in my head, and I realized that across 8 to 10 books that I've recorded with a team of characters. It's a crime procedural novels by Archer Mayer, and his character is a Korean War veteran who is the head of the Vermont Bureau of Investigation, and so through narrating these books, I have played that character and some of those characters. If each book is anywhere from 8 to 10 hours in length, double that's a good rate of work to get 8 to 10 finished hours. So that's about 20 hours a book. And I'm tallying this up, and I realized by the time I'm done with Mass Effect Andromeda, I will have actually played Ryder for a longer period of time than the characters in these books that I've been narrating for almost 4 years now.
Wow.
And so the only thing I can liken it to mentally, because I've not done a TV show, is like having a TV series,
Yeah.
And this is one game. No DLC, no nothing, but just the time on my feet in the box thinking about Mass Effect and Ryder and that headspace. That many hundreds of hours, and it's longer than I've spent in any other headspace in any other medium ever. So the enormity of that just kind of hit me. I was like, wow, that's a treat. What a treat, because I never thought something like that would happen for me.
Wow, I mean, congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
It's an amazing experience, man. It sounds amazing. I'm amazed by just the sheer amount of work that I would have never known the sheer amount of work that goes into recording these games just by playing them.
Yeah, and
I don't think a lot of gamers do know that, to be honest.
And think about the paths that you never see. Maybe there's a character you don't interact with, and
right,
and something you never see. Caden Alenko.
Boo!
Oh, come on.
Gone. He died.
Well, I killed him. He did.
He died for me in Mass Effect 1. And I realized, and so later on, I had this realization: I just removed an actor, right, from 8 to 10 years of a video game experience. For me, he's gone. I never saw a thing that he did after Mass Effect 1 at all.
Wow,
and that's right. And to have that, it's okay. It's okay. He was with me in Knights of the Old Republic. It's like I had plenty of time with him as Karth, but
that was also Karth Onassi?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow,
yeah, that's Karth too. Yeah, he's great.
The things you know, everybody. The things you learn, everybody. Wow,
right?
I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Yeah,
it's off. I mean, I didn't mean to boo Kaden like that, but no. But I killed him the first chance I got.
Well, for me,
I'm gonna choose between Ashley Williams and him. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was I was the biotic.
Yeah.
I was the biotic in the team. You're dead weight, son. I got this. It was like mostly me, Garrus, and Rex just rolling around. Like Rex up in front, shooting guys and punching them in the face. Garrus in the back, popping dudes, and then I'm in the middle, kind of controlling. That was kind of what I did for the whole trilogy.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because we actually wanted to know. I mean, since you've played the games, I guess what has been your preferred party throughout maybe the three of them, or
that was it. Like I was disappointed when I couldn't have when I couldn't have Urdnot Rex. I was bummed.
You weren't able to talk him down.
No, well, no, I got him back. He's with me. You know, like I got him back by 3. You know what I mean? But it's like, I mean, Grunt's cool. Grunt's cool and all, the idea, but it wasn't Rex.
Nah, he's no Rex.
There was just something there that I was just like, yeah, I like this. I love this interpretation. I love that thing, you know. And now, you know, it's a meme, you know, Shepherd. But
yo, that was a good impression.
You know what I mean? I've been doing it for years, right? Yeah, but by myself in my room, right? But that was like important, you know, and I love that. And then I just had Garrus because, you know, shooting dudes from far away, and it was just for me, it was like a tactical thing, and then it was just fun having everybody, you know, the banter and stuff like that back and forth. Because otherwise, I kind of like want to exploring a lot of the characters and the relationships outside of the missions. Because when it's in the missions, for me, it was like it's mission time.
Yeah,
you know, who works? You guys work. You're my gang. And then later on, I'd have to switch it up, going, I'm about to go into this is Geth territory. I'm probably going to need Liara, and, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's mostly strategy. But at the end of the day, it was Garrus and Urdnot Rex.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I can't remember my ideal squad for the first couple games, but basically it was Garrus and Liara for me. Was my go-to, man. I played as a soldier during my first run. I would have honestly played as a biotic if I knew any better. But when I start a game and I see a menu of all these classes, I'm just like, yeah, like I just tired for any of that. So I'm just like, I'm gonna be a soldier because I know what that word means, and that's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah. So that's interesting to me because, you know, talk about the amount of time that you spend in the games and how much you love these Mass Effect games. A lot of this stuff is based on choice and player choice, and you create this and build all this other stuff. But are you overwhelmed with that choice, or is it more like, no, that's too much choice. I know what I like. I just want this thing.
Oh no, I love the choice. I love the choice. It's just that, you know, it's like going into the store, and, you know, I like shopping, right? I like clothes. I like going to the store.
Yeah.
But I will stand in the store and be like, man, should I get this shirt? Should I get that shirt? But yo, I like these shorts too. But if I get these shorts, I can't go to the movies next week. You know what I mean? It's like, but the choice may literally steal years from my life, because cumulatively speaking, I probably stared at things in the store for God knows how long. But I like the choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll take the choice. It's just that, you know, when you talk about Vanguard, Infiltrator, Sentinel, you know, Adept, I'm just like, man.
And you're just starting
a soldier, man.
And you're just starting the game, and you don't know the systems, you don't know how it works. Yeah.
I mean, and I was in college at the time. I was like, I can't think about big words. I don't know.
Right. I mean, my thing was, you know, you have at least 2 years between each BioWare game, each Mass Effect game. So I played the hell out of each Mass Effect game over and over. So, you know,
it was like
Renegade Run, Paragon.
Game. Oh wow.
Yeah, male, female. I try to just get as much juice out of this game, and it's just something about BioWare games in general. You mentioned Knights of the Old Republic, same thing. You know, as a huge Star Wars fan, it's just like, all right, well, let me try the Sith path. Let me try the Jedi path.
Sure. I mean, Boyce has pretty much delved into like all those BioWare games. I mean, Jade Empire.
Yeah, I was going to mention. I was going to ask. I mean, it seems you've played a number of BioWare games, and you mentioned the original Xbox. Have you gotten the chance to play Jade Empire? Because I feel that's probably one of the more underrated games that not enough people talk about. And I think it's pretty fun game.
I played a little bit. My roommate at the time had it, and because he had the original Xbox, so I played a little bit of it there, and then I never got to touch it when it came out to PC. But so I played a little bit of it. I was like, I've been here, but You know what I mean? Just because it was so much of it was built kind of in that KOTOR milieu, but of course their own original world. And there was a lot of other stuff going on at the time, and I was not able to like really delve into it. Mm-hmm. But now it's on your iPad, for heaven's sake. It's like no excuses except for time on my end. So I didn't get to do that one. But like the old BioWare, like Baldur's Gate 2,
Neverwinter Nights.
Neverwinter Nights, yes. With the manual, I would read the manual on the L as I was heading to play practice, quite literally. I had a buddy of mine who's in New York right now, a gentleman by the name of Scott Aiello. He was, and I knew the game was out there, and I was like, I don't know. And Scott's like, no, you must play this game. You need to play this game. It is taken over. I said, all right, Scott. And I went and bought it with money I did not have, and it came with that amazing manual and the cloth map and all of it, and I just poured over all of it because that's just what I did like growing up, and it was this great kind of throwback as I'm doing outdoor Shakespeare and day job thing to have that big old tome of a manual. It's awesome. It was a great game too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean, how far back do you go with video games?
The Intellivision.
That's pretty far back.
My man, I just had a seizure thinking about it. What? My man took me back.
Look it up, right? Yeah. My father, who's an environmental engineer, I think he kind of got it for himself and didn't know what he was giving to his kids. And it kind of started there. And then in about 86, something like that, I think it was for my brother's birthday, they got the NES action set. So it came with a zapper and then the dual cartridge of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Oh, Duck Hunt, man!
Right, and that's what you had, and you played that into the ground, and then we got like Top Gun, and so you'd get like that one game every now and then finally like one of the local video stores started renting video games. We got to rent them, and it was just this. It was a downward spiral from there because I had some friends kind of doing PC gaming, and so I started building my own rigs. And to play the next thing, and the thing I used to kind of like hit a wall and go, nope, I got to get the next biggest thing, Dad. Were the Wing Commander games, Chris Roberts' Wing Commander series, because they were always designing those games for next year's computers. So I was always behind. I was like, I had the box, but I wasn't quite there. I'd start playing it, and finally I got the new sound card or whatever. Oh, now it works brilliantly. And so then by the time like the Super Nintendo came out, my brother was playing a lot of that. I did too on the TV, but I was back in the computer room playing the Sierra games and the LucasArts adventure games and X-Wing and TIE Fighter, the Wing Commander games, things like that. So it's very PC based coming into college.
Man,
another interesting connection that I just realized, saying that you played Wing Commander.
Yes,
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Right?
was in the Wing Commander movie.
You've been stalking him your whole lifetime.
I know. Now I follow him on Twitter because he's just a wonderful guy. And that's the funny thing about being out here in Los Angeles is, these are a lot of the people that I'm now quote unquote competing with are people whose work I've watched and admired from kind of afar for a very long time. And these are people whose work I have plugged to students and said, these are the exemplars of the form. Find some more of your own. Tell me who else you love. And then I would also like incorporate them into people that I follow.
You said students?
Yes, I taught at Columbia College in Chicago. Specifically, and I taught a couple other places. Voice acting, I taught some places, but I specifically taught voice acting for video games at Columbia College, Chicago, for a few years, for a couple years. I made up the syllabus and everything like that, and so, I wound up. I would teach from, in some instances, BioWare scripts, because they were just so well written, and there were amazing things you could pull from just one little script of theirs.
Man, if I had time travel, I would kidnap you and make you the professor like at least 3 of my classes back in college, man. Because we were in Bioware scripts, I would have paid a lot more attention. Tell you what.
It was, well, part of me was like, I really got to convince myself and these kids that this is an academic course, right? The fine art of, screaming, bleeding, and dying. But it was, some of the best compliments I got were from the theater majors and others that saying, I got so much from this, like as an acting class, as an acting exercise, versus, years of this, that, and the other thing. And it was just a wonderful compliment that they, for me. And I think it worked. I think a lot of what Mass Effect has been is kind of like confirmation that I wasn't just making shit up. In my years at Columbia College, the students were wonderful and the faculty there were wonderful having me, and they seemed to like what I was doing. But in the back of my mind, I was always concerned and trying to change the syllabus, bring in new scripts and new ideas, because I was always concerned. It's like, is this any good? The students are improving. I'm liking what I'm hearing, and some of them are saying certain things. But is this really applicable? Is this good stuff? Are these, is this high-minded kind of like scientific analysis of this work any good? Is it useful? And some of this work on Mass Effect has been, oh my gosh, I'm not totally off base.
Yeah,
this is excellent. And so I've even taken the opportunity to talk to some of the directors and creatives on Mass Effect just to pick their brains, even though I'm not teaching anymore right now. Maybe someday, and I just cannot help but ask everybody, so what is it you do? So what do you think about this? What's your theory on this? How about this? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is different. And watch how Frida works on this thing. Oh, it's amazing. I never would have thought about that. Her choice is so different. It's amazing. And I love that process. I love that thought process.
I mean, even hearing you talk about, just tell your story about, your life, your career, the lead into you being cast for Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, it's almost like you were meant for this role, man. Like, let's be frank. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but you found the path to Bioware, and you're the Pathfinder. It's like destiny, man.
No, that's another game. That too is Nolan North.
Right. Oh man, that's good stuff, man. But it seems like you were meant for it, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how things work out.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I put it that way, but there's a lot of stuff that has been kind of falling into place as this goes on, and having that realization of, I guess I'm not totally off base. This is pretty good. You always have that kind of imposter syndrome going around. And when something, it's true. You never really feel like you're in charge, or you know what you're doing, or that you're an authority on anything, and it's tough to kick. And that was a big thing for me. I'm moving from Chicago to LA, right? Ooh, I was outside the fish tank, and now I'm inside, right, for the first time in a while, running into these people who I've followed on Twitter for years, running into them at auditions, or at callbacks, or they're going out as I'm going in, and I'm trying to stop myself from going, that's Matt Mercer. I should say, no, I should shut the fuck up and just, go on my way and let him be, and so that kind of thought process is all in the back of your mind. You're just thinking, am I any good? I'm faking it, right? This isn't the real deal. And that's slowly shifting. You slowly gain that confidence, but I don't know if it's totally there yet. I still, even a year and a half after things and working on Mass Effect, there's still this, am I any good? I don't know. And so I'm always out there trying to, do better every day, right? Always improving. Was it always forward? Forward always. So
that's the line from the trailer, man.
But no. That's Luke Cage.
Isn't that the line from the fourth? Isn't there a line like that?
I don't think so. No.
Is there?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage was awesome, by the way.
I love that show. That's brilliant.
That was a fantastic show. Yeah. That, for some reason, that sounds familiar other than Luke Cage, but that is Luke Cage. You're right.
Yeah,
that's what Pop would say.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what Pop would say. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So are you like all into the MCU, like DC movies and all that stuff too?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm
Tom, man. Are you my spirit animal or something, man? Like, this is too real right now, man. Like, I'm about to propose. I'm about to make you my romance option or something, man. This is awesome, man.
Oh, it's sweet of you to say. Yeah, I'm a nerd, right? Like, and it's so. A couple years ago, I had Steve Downs in to talk to my voice acting video games class. Steve Downs, that's Master Chief.
Yeah.
He's a Chicago radio guy. He just retired last year or the year before. And so I'm having him in to talk. And because the students are all kind of doughy eyed. Oh my gosh, look at him. Oh, it's Master Chief. It's Master Chief. And he's a really great guy. He's an amazing guy and he's a fantastic actor. And so he's there and I'm prompting him with some simple questions, and then I bring one up about working on the game. So because of this and this, and before you were on this and doing this, and so because of this, that kind of changed, and now in this particular game, you're working with them up there. The relationship with Cortana. Da 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 da. How is this different from this? And he just looks at me, and he said, "How the hell do you know that?" And I said, "Well, I did some reading and." Looked some stuff, and I just stopped and looked at him. I said, "Mr. Downs, as my students know, I am not a voice actor who happens to like video games. I'm a video game nerd who just happens to be a voice actor."
All right.
And he just kind of nods and goes, "Oh, okay." And, answered the class. So later on, he said, "Yeah, I'll stay and sign some stuff for the students." So he's signing people's things, and he's signing this. And I hand him my copy of Halo. And he looks at me again. Pauses, right? He looks at me again, and then he goes, "Oh, right, you're one of them." And signs it, and it was kind of a bit, and I'd since got to work with him on some other stuff, and it's really cool. But that was definitely this moment of, oh, right. Somebody else is going to go, "Oh, you're like a father of two and a husband and da-da-da-da-da," and, and that's what Steve saw in the classroom. "Oh, you're a teacher. And oh, a voice actor. Yeah, I've seen you. Oh, you're a big dork. Okay, sure. Here's your signed copy of Halo 4.
I mean, so speaking of your history with games and everything and being a gamer, what are some of your favorite franchises, man? I mean, other than I assume Mass Effect's at the top for you, one of the top for you. But what are some of the games you've played? What are some of your favorite games, series? What games have you played this year that you really liked?
Oh gosh, this year I'm still playing Hearthstone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of ubiquitous ever since it came out.
Yeah.
And then
you're in the West Coast, so I expect that. Right. On the East Coast, like, what is that?
Really? Is there really a coastal thing?
I think there's somewhat.
You could say so. I mean, West Coast really has an affinity for Blizzard games. Yes. East Coast is, I guess, a little bit more into fighting games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The FGC is big here.
Yeah. So is there also is there something culturally too about the fighting games too, where certain people pick up on them more than others? Because I'm not trying to get racial or anything like that.
No.
But I was watching watching the pro tourneys and the tournament scene.
Mm-hmm.
There's a totally different demographic there, and I would say a more diverse demographic there than what you would see at other other pro gaming scenes.
Well, I think that's just kind of attributed to the fact that it kind of picked up here in the New York, New Jersey area, sort of the Northeast.
Yeah.
And I guess, in the urban areas, it's a little bit more, big cities, a little bit more diverse. I mean, I know also Hazy can speak to this, but growing up, we definitely going to the arcade before, back during the era where you could, everything wasn't online. Sure. You go, there are a lot of mom and pop shops. You'd go, they always have arcade cabinets. So you could go to your local mom and pop shop and there'd be Street Fighter Alpha 3 or something. And people would crowd around the machine still in the 90s. And that was a big thing here in New York, as well as in New Jersey. It just kind of coalesced from all of that. And then just as it became more popular, there was a lot more money, a lot more attention around it. So I guess the precursors to that, were people that were from very, diverse backgrounds. I mean, African American, Hispanic, Asian, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I mean, even the current Smash community, because Smash is really came on the scene. I would say in a big, with the limelight on them, probably in the last 4 or 5 years, and that pretty much started on the East Coast, and I dare say it started in New York. To be honest with you, I mean, I have some friends who were the early people within the Smash FGC community that kind of brought that game up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then there's the real reason. New Yorkers like to fight. There's a rule here that you're not allowed to just punch anyone in the face. It's kind of it's kind of dumb, right? So we like to do it through video games as a way to cope. I mean, if you're riding an MTA for one day at least, you want to punch somebody at least once. At least once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could knock the hell out of Scorpion or Ryu or if you want, but the bus driver is a no-no. You know what I mean? So we have to find ways to cope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too, there's also that because the more densely populated urban areas, there's more of that sense of face-to-face kind of thing.
Yeah.
So almost like meeting on the playground or something like that.
Absolutely.
So one-on-one, that kind of thing. Whereas so much of these other things are built on, nope, I'm in my own little space, my own little box with my headset on, clicking my APM and things like that.
Yeah.
And a little bit, I too, in the fighting games too, there's a little more room for hot dogging.
Yeah.
Kind of like street ball or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas but in a first-person shooter, in an RTS, in a MOBA, there is no room for hot dogging. There's no room for that little something, and everybody just gets to have that moment of, a good shot, right? A good snapshot, with a sniper rifle in Halo is still always impressive.
Yeah.
But that opportunity to just, pull off that right block and the counter combo, things like that, with just the right amount of frames, and that kind of thing lends it. There's almost something that comes out of, just that face-to-face thing on the cabinet versus,
I mean, that's a good analogy in terms of street ball and I guess fighting game community in the Northeast. I think it also just that one-on-one aspect, like MOBAs, team games. So I guess there's less of that. And I mean, but those games are also a lot more international as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I also think that on the East Coast, there's more of a, with freestyling and breakdance battles and stuff like that. There's more of a confrontational culture, if you will, where you could step to somebody with your skill, challenge them, and have ultimate bragging rights if you lose, and they have the right to cut your ass as long as they want if you lose. You know what I mean? They can cut your ass forever. I'm not trying to judge the West Coast or anything.
No.
You guys are over there in the West Coast is dude, man, it's cool, bro. Everything's all right, man. No worries, man. It's everything's chill. Where New York City and the East Coast is all about getting hyped for stuff, and I mean, you hear the eruptions that happen, just like you said when you just hit the right counter punch or whatever, or counter combo to somebody going in a game. You know what I mean? A fighting game. Yeah. So I think that might have a little bit to do with it too, but that's just me. That's me judging and stereotyping the West Coast. You know what I mean?
No, it's all right. I'm not. I don't make any. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really West Coast. Maybe my kids will be someday more than I will ever be. But I'm from Chicago. I'm the Midwest.
I think Tom, you and us, we kind of have beef in other things in terms of hot dogs and pizza, but that's a different discussion for a different day, I guess.
Well, yeah, we have to talk about that. We don't have time in the podcast to discuss how awful.
What?
Pizza.
What?
I don't have time.
Man, you know what the name of this podcast is called? It's called Bitcoin or Die Trying. You about to die trying right now. How dare you, Tom?
Listen, deep dish is a very delicious lasagna. I'll give you guys that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with lasagna. Well, it's cold, right? I'm going to sit down and eat it. I'm not walking somewhere while I'm eating it. I don't have to roll it up like a cannoli to eat it. I'm sitting down, and heaven help you if you eat it with a fork. Just get out, Don't do that. And like hot dogs, I never really got into. Which sounds weird, but it was a health food thing, right? My kids love it, and what are you gonna do? Yeah, because I never got to go to many baseball games as a kid, so that's kind of the thing, right? The ballpark dogs.
Speaking of baseball, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Right,
congratulations.
I'm not one to follow baseball.
Me neither.
Cubs fans were like a traffic problem for me for the longest time, commuting in and around Chicago and the city, things like that. But I was watching the series because for me, watching it and members of the family, things like that, it was definitely we're just here. We need to watch this because this is history. There's some history here, and we need to watch it. Was it my wife's great uncle? He's celebrating. I forget how old he is, but he was there in the Cubs' the real pennant run, because he was there in 40. He was there in 45.
Yeah.
And the sign he had at the games, the family rallied to get like money and everything, and everybody gets to get him to the games. And the sign was, "I was there in 45. Please do it while I'm still alive."
Oh.
And they did. And that side of the family, the Italian Cicero side of the family, there, everybody exploded. It was pretty amazing and magic. So yeah, following that was definitely it's magic time for everybody. Wow, that's amazing. Just watching history.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Boyce really loves baseball. Boyce and our other co-host, Big Red and Y, they love baseball, man. I mean, I appreciate baseball, Tom, because for me, I think for many years people have been looking for the cure to insomnia, and I think baseball
is it.
It's going a long way to prove that it's probably the cure. That and potentially soccer. God help me, the international community is going to come after me after this. My face is broadcast on the internet right now too. It's a wrap, but insomnia is a problem, and these two sports, they're the cure.
Yeah.
They're the cure.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. See that, boys? There's people who don't like baseball. Surprise, right?
It has gotten faster than when I watched it like as a kid and growing up. The game is fast. The game is.
My level of fatigue has grown fast. Right.
That's very true.
I get sleepy time. I can't do it.
Yeah. Night games? What? It's crazy.
Nah, man. Tuck me in right now, man. Give me my teddy. I'm going to sleep. But I mean, growing up in Chicago, man, how do you feel that your Chicago upbringing has shaped your, let's say, your voice acting career and what you put into your characters when you do, take on a role? Like, right. What kind of swagger does that bring when you're going to audition? Does it bring any swagger for you?
That's actually a good question. I'm going to start with saying, I'm being very specific, the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So I grew up in a town of like 2,000 people.
Okay.
And somewhere
my high school was bigger than that.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
My graduating class was less than 150 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. And so somewhere like in 8th grade, I decided I was going to be an actor. And I spent the next like 3 or so years convincing my family of that fact, right? And made it happen, went to university for it. And then I came in and I lived in Chicago for a little over a decade. Working there, day job, whole 9 yards doing that. And part of that kind of Midwestern thing, you're saying, what kind of swagger does that? Does the Chicago, I would say the Chicago actor background, but none. Because we're from Chicago. There's I think, and there are people that break this mold, absolutely. But there is, I would like to think, a kind of a Chicago work ethic that goes with being an actor in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And you show up and you go to work, There's not a lot of hot dogging, and the people who are good, and everybody works, and it's very much a community that gets along and works together. And so the work ethic is everything. And then I think it lends itself to a certain mentality, hopefully a healthy one, that can save you as you deal with the ups and downs of the business and trying to make a living as an artist or performing artist, whatever it is that you're doing.
Sure.
There's something grounding about that community. And so I think some of it, especially as a voice actor, it's, get out of the way, do your job. No hot dogging, no craziness like that, doing a TV commercial. There's a picture there. Stay out of the way of the picture. That's the important part. You are supporting that, I learned in my early days, a lot of my stuff at Chicago Shakespeare, I was, background, things like that. Yeah. And I learned the art of not being seen. There was a sequence in which there was a big mess basically happened on stage in the scene, and it took place in a cafe. And me and two of my friends, we were in the show. We were the professional waiters in this cafe. And as the scene was going, the scene continued after this thing, and everybody comes in and reveals this craziness. I and my two friends as the professional waiters cleaned up the set. We cleaned up the water. There was egg on the floor, all of this stuff. We cleaned it as the scene was going on. And I remember specifically a friend saying, okay, after that scene, King Petruchio, there was all that stuff on the, they had the pool and there was the water and they smashed the egg on Petruchio's head. How do you guys clean that up? What happened? And we stared and said, we cleaned it up. We did that. We were on stage the whole next, act whatever, cleaning that stuff up in time for the end scene with this and this and this. And they just paused and looked at us and smiled and said, I didn't even notice. And we had that moment of, we did our jobs then. Our job was to clean the stage and not be seen and be, just get it done. And by doing that and focusing on that, we did our jobs, didn't steal the scene or didn't do anything. Boom. And there's a lot of that to be said. There's a reason why some shows, they shoot in Chicago, right? We need regular people who will show up and support, our people from LA or nowadays like Canada and Australia. And Chicago's a great town for that. And then those people that finish their day on that, doing supporting whatever on a TV show, and then they'll go and just kill it on stage at the Goodman or the Steppenwolf and just own that theater top to bottom. Playing to the back of the house and just do some of the best acting I've ever seen. So it's a good town for that, and I think that mentality helps at least navigate certain things.
Got you. I mean, just a follow-up question on your experiences and how you bring that to the table when you perform. You play the Mass Effect trilogy extensively.
Yes.
What type of personal experiences from Mass Effect do you think about when you remind yourself that you're voicing Scott Ryder and you're going in there working on Mass Effect and essentially becoming immortalized in the Mass Effect lore, going forward? Shut up. Right?
Shut up and go to work. There is a part of that. But that also has been kind of helpful, like early on. I was working with Caroline Livingstone, who's the voice director and casting person, goddess there up at BioWare. She I'm not here without Caroline. There's a whole team of people up there at BioWare that I'm not here without, and she's one of them. She's one of the people that had the major hand in casting me.
Shout outs to Caroline.
Hell yes. And she's wonderful too. She's wonderful to work with. And she would be trying to explain something to me early on, and I would go, yeah, the Krogan. Or, oh yeah, you mean, yeah, sorry, no, I know. Oh, you mean like this and this sequence of this where this happened and this. And she goes, right. I keep forgetting you know all of this. and I early on I said, Caroline, I'm the person that read every single codex and listened to them all.
They're pretty good.
Just so, oh yeah.
The narrator's fantastic. I love that guy.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I love it.
Just so you know, when you write that stuff and you record that stuff, you're recording that for me. I'm the guy who sat there and listened to and read all that stuff because I love diving into that fiction. And she's had that moment of, okay, this will come in handy. Okay. So there's that. I think that's kind of helped. So there's a shorthand that we can skip certain things, whereas, other people, you might need to explain some of that stuff. It still can be quickly explained. Some of the stuff is very basic. You could say, "Oh, deep knowledge of the lore. It's so useful, helpful." It's like, yeah, but still, at the end of the day, it's acting, and these are, relationships and characters, and even if they're, it doesn't matter if they're, we're talking about a Krogan. It's like the biggest dude you can think of. You know what I mean? As a shorthand, For me, you say Krogan's like, I know what that shorthand is, what that means, what that relationship is immediately by saying Krogan. Whereas all you have to do is, give somebody else another reference, another frame of reference, and they'll pick it up from there. But yeah, definitely. When my agent, he's not at the agency right now, but he called. He said, "Hey man, we got a bite," and it was the first thing that I booked out here. It was the first thing that I booked after moving to Los Angeles.
Dope.
And so he said, "Hey man, we got a bite. This thing, this project, whatever, blah blah blah." And I went back and I looked at the audition, and I first of all went, "That really? That's what you picked? Okay, fine, whatever." But then I looked at the scripts and the roles, and I called him back up, right? I emailed him and I said, "Hey, I was looking over the scripts. All the other scripts, those characters, they're talking to the character in that script that they're calling me in for. They're all talking to me. I think I know what this is. Are you sure it's me?" It's not like a callback, because usually games are in 4-hour sessions. They were just asking for a 2-hour. I was like, "You sure it's not a callback or something?"
Yeah.
Or looked, he's like, "I don't know. They just asked if you'd be there, and they're going to pay. So okay."
They're going to pay. All right. I'm in.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Sign me up.
An agent, right? It's the agent. That's his job. It's like, shut up and take the job. And so. There was definitely that, and I kind of that first session I had to have that moment of, is this what I think it is? Is this what this is? And it wasn't until like another few more sessions that it kind of sunk in that, nope, this is it. This is the real deal. Okay, time to show up and go to work. And so so in the back of your mind, there's always this idea that it's Mass Effect, but then you really just show up and there's so much to do, and you do it. And kind of now with the N7 day, release of Our Names, and other stuff, and like talking to you guys right now, there's more and more of this sense of, oh right, Mass Effect, oh right, that game that I was playing, in that spare bedroom of my condo, years and years ago. Those games that I played on the floor of my living room, when we moved out to the suburbs after putting the baby to bed. Oh, that more and more of this, how the series has been with me. It's my personal voice actor. Like, I can imagine like what might be like what John Boyega went through.
Yeah,
I'm in Star what? you know what I mean? And so it's my own.
Yeah, he was starstruck about being Finn in Star Wars, man. He couldn't believe it. I feel like when he talks about it now, he still can't believe it.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of what this is. It's this moment of, it's my own version of that, and to work with Caroline and Shannon and these directors and the writers and all these people who have written these things that I've watched and played through and enjoyed and loved and been a fan of, to finally now be a place with them, work with them, and then like go out to dinner. You know what I mean? It's like, and like have chats on Facebook and other things like that. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's still, it's still there. Kind of
hasn't hit you yet. Safe to say.
And maybe it won't. Maybe it'll always be. Maybe I'll always kind of have a little bit of starstruck, and just, which is good for perspective.
Sure.
You don't want it to get too old hat, because it's perspective. It's perspective.
Not true.
Yeah. I mean, so you keep mentioning the names of people that are kind of there when you're performing. Is Mac Walters there when you're there? Is he like around? Is he like how present? How often do you see him when you're recording? Because we got a funny little story about Mac Walters, right, boys?
Well, yeah, we did during New York City Comic Con. I mean, we were gonna have the pleasure to speak to him, but kind of Twitch kind of
pleasure
came
of
in.
speaking with Mac.
Yeah, and Twitch kind of came in and I guess strong armed us. I guess maybe is the word.
We got played, Tom.
What?
We got played. So, Dark Horse Comics, right? Shout out to Dark Horse Comics.
Shout out to Dark Horse.
They got some Mass Effect Andromeda tie-ins. Check those out if you're listening. And they hooked us up. They said, "Hey, Mac Walters is gonna be here. We hook you guys up." So I found out about that from Boyce, and I'm like, "Yo, like I left my job early that day, like trying to get down there. I got hit with traffic. I'm like, guys, I'm gonna be late. Can't believe this. This is the biggest thing. This is the biggest moment of my life, and I'm not gonna see Mac Walters." And DeepBoyce hits me with like this cool, and I appreciate this because this is a true friend, right? He hits me with the text and he goes, "Oh man, don't worry about it. It's cool, man. Take your time." And I'm like, wow, Mac Walters must have a ton of time on his hands because I'm running late. I get there, I speed through the entrance. There's so many people. It's at New York City Comic Con. The Javits Center is packed. I see Boyce and our other co-host, Big Red and Y, and they're just standing there. And I'm like, all right, guys, we ready? They're like, Hayes, we gotta let you down easy, man. We gotta tell you, man. Twitch took Mac Walters from us, and I was like, y'all playing, right? Y'all putting my leg. What's the cameras? The hidden cameras. And they were like, no. Twitch came in. They were like, he's got like 10 extra minutes before he has a Twitch interview. We're just gonna start early with him. You ever get bad news and you kind of do like a turn where you walk away from the person who told you bad news and you turn back to them and you go, really? Was about, and I kid you not, you can ask Boyce, it was about like 25 yards. And then I turned back, I was like, you guys gotta be kidding. You can ask Boyce. You can ask Boyce.
Yeah.
Mac Walters, man, one of these days.
Maybe one of these days, yeah.
Catch up with him, man.
But we still had a good time during New York City Comic Con, so.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. And, Tom held us down today, too, man. He's, you're the MVP today, man. Thank you so much.
Well,
Appreciate
thank you guys
it.
for your patience as I'm coming back and getting in the box here for you guys. So, and being
no
up so late,
problem.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Like you said, we gamers. This is the ass crack of dawn right now,
Yeah.
Buzz. We ready. We about to get started. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Boys, I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do have any questions, we can get to them. But I do want to make sure we get you with a rapid fire question round that we're going to end the podcast with. But Boyce, if you have anything you want to ask Tom, feel free, man.
Yeah, this will just be a quick question, just out of curiosity.
Question with me. Yeah. Emailed earlier this week. Yeah, guys, like an hour. I can't promise I'm going to be any better for more than an hour. An hour's about right.
I told DeepBoyce, I was like, Tom has not met us. He does not know that we can go on 4 days.
Gonna edit this me. I feel like I'm talking your ears off.
Oh, no.
We love
Not
it.
at all.
We love it. We love
Gonna
it.
edit this down.
Oh, no. Not at all.
Editing.
No, it's coming out raw, baby.
Nobody's gonna listen to 2 hours of this crap. Oh my.
But I wanted to know, when you finally get your hands on the game, will you go with male or female Ryder?
Female.
Good question.
Female.
I've
already, I'm so overly critical of my own work. And right now we're kind of in the process where we're going back over old stuff.
Yeah.
And they're finding things and they go, yeah, this doesn't work, or this doesn't work, or he's too loud here. Because again, we have limited context. So there are times when it'll be written in the scene description that something is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so everybody and me, the engineer, director, we go, you know what? Okay, it sounds like this. This should be shouted, or this should be something like that. Oh, they're across the room, or something like that. And then in the final scene, nope, they're right next to us. and so this has come down the pipeline, and so you'll see this scene where it's like, maybe it's PB, and PB is just talking to Ryder. And then Ryder goes, yeah, PB, on our way! So because I recorded first, I look like the idiot. Or we're getting other pieces of animation. And so we have to match to that. And every now and then this line, this says, so what are we doing? and they'll say, and they'll play the scene. And they go, well, we got to tweak this line because they changed the words. And then we need some effort sounds and breathing in this section as you like climb a cliff. So, okay. And then they'll be doing the preview thing and playing the scene so we get a sense of where everything is and where things happen. And I'm listening and I go, oh God, that delivery's awful. That doesn't fit. No, they're like the music of this line should be like this and this because of this. And I'll say, hey Josh, are we changing that? He's like, no, we're not changing that. They didn't tell us to change that. We got a bunch of stuff to do today and we're not changing that. I said, but Josh, that sucks. I don't want that in the game. And they're like, look, trust the process, man. I said, no, that's Josh, that sucks. I can't stand it. It's gonna eat at me listening to that. Someday I might play this, and you've probably played it in games and been like, that's the one? Like, that's the guy, or that's the delivery, that's the line. And there's gonna be over the course of 12,000 lines or something like that, there's gonna be some that just don't work, partly because of the process, right?
Yeah.
And so then there are quality assurance there and directors and people up there at BioWare who listen to all of this stuff, and you got to trust them to say,
sure,
that's okay, or that's within the realm of things. But for me, I'm going, no, that's not it at all. It doesn't click for me. Like the director, instructor, and perfectionist side of me comes out. And so like Josh Dean, everybody, Josh Dean. And Judy, our engineer, Judy Lee, they will talk me down. They got to talk me down. Like, no, we got to move on. It's okay. Let it go, man. Let it go. And I said, we've been working together for a year. I cannot let this go. Because I'll play the game and it'll grate at me. I partly, it's you've seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't need to see it, Dottie. I lived it. Right? And that's why I wouldn't play as male Ryder up front.
Sure.
I've been there. I've done that. And just the little bits that I've seen and heard of Frida's work, I want to hear her take. Because I'm not spoiling anything right now, but partly because of the casting of us, but also because of the way it's written, the fact that the two Ryders, the siblings, exist at the same time.
Yeah.
These are not the same characters that are excluding one another by their simple existence. They exist at the same time. They're very separate. Even though we're delivering the same lines and we're in same situations and sometimes different situations, because some relationships work one way and not the other. These performances are very different. And I have loved hearing stuff that Frida does, and I go, I would never have done it that way. I never would have thought of that, because different acting backgrounds, all sorts of stuff. And so I would want to play through that and just to hear her take on it before maybe doing a new game plus as Scott Ryder. I might do it just for the perspective. Because there's been some stuff that I've watched and listened to and I go, that kind of fits.
No.
That's not bad. Maybe I'm supposed to be in this game after all. Again, that moment of, I don't know if I'm supposed to be in Star Wars. I don't know. Even though there's lots of people that have said it's okay, right? I've been doing it for over a year. I still just watch some stuff and I go, I don't know if that works, because I don't have the perspective of, this is Scott Ryder, or something like that. I have the perspective of, that's me being pasted into something, which is what it feels like. And that's not necessarily fair, but it's sometimes what it feels like. You got to kind of get out of that. And it's hard for me to escape sometimes.
I mean, you're still going to hear your character, though, because even if you play as Sarah, Scott is still in the game. So you're still going to hear your performance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are moments and there are scenes where the two of us are together, which has been fun because in those sequences, what your Pathfinder Scott Ryder, and then there's Sarah Ryder.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to do the flip side of that same scene, where
I see
I am simply Scott Ryder, but she is Pathfinder Sarah Ryder.
Right.
She is player character. I say Pathfinder when I mean player character.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've already heard her side of the story, her version of it, and you got to flip it. and do the exact same line, exact same scene, except you're just switching roles, as it were.
Yeah,
And that's kind of fun, and fun and really interesting. It's an amazing dynamic. And then, I think about it, just what are possible future gameplay implications of that?
Yeah,
definitely. What could you do? And then there's certain things narratively where I think, oh, wait a minute, you guys could do, they're like, my mind explodes with what they've created fictionally and narratively for the whole Andromeda thing. Mm-hmm. And it's exciting to me. Like, as a player and things, I go, oh, the things you could do, thematically and with these characters and these situations, this could be amazing. And then I go, oh, wait a minute, I get to kind of play there. It's like being in season 1 of a show and realizing, oh my gosh, I might be here for season 2. Yeah. And they might be coming up with some of this amazing stuff. Oh my gosh, that'll be so fun to play with.
It's awesome, man. I mean,
that's wild. It's exciting too.
You give like these answers that like blow my mind. Like, it's just like, I'm trying to facilitate the conversation, be a good host, but at the same time, I'm sitting here like a fan, just like, I'm learning about a new trade right now, man. Like, you're teaching me about this, man. Then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice of you to say.
Of course.
I think the teaching thing never left. Mm-hmm. And people's like, oh, you should teach again. And I go, you know what? There are people I would send you to before out here in LA. Yeah. Before I'd say, learn anything from me. There are people I want to, learn from out here. Sure. But just that thought process. And one of the things I loved about the teaching was having that kind of scientific mindset, looking at this thing that I've been doing for a while, because when the opportunity first presented itself, I thought, I don't know a damn thing. What are you talking about? I've been out here just kind of flailing around and, hey, look, work. But then having the opportunity to really sit down and examine everything, I thought, oh, wait a minute, I might be able to put something. And it was fun to have that analysis time. Sure. And so what's great is, again, having the Andromeda gig that's like, all right, let's put some of this, into practice, and throwing away the book and just getting in there and going to work, which is fantastic. So having a little bit of both is very useful.
I mean, I hear what you bring to the craft and what you bring to the table, when you step into the booth, so to speak. And then I just can't help but think of like video game performances that we've like made fun of, like back in the past GCDT episodes, like Letitia the Trash Lady from Deus Ex, Human Revolution.
I mean, the old Resident Evil games had some good ones. Yeah, some memorable ones. I mean,
blood. It's not Christmas blood. Yeah. I'm there. It's there, Yeah. And one of the great things about having started with the original talkies when the LucasArts adventure games hit CD-ROM.
Yeah.
And you had it's like whatchamacallit, Day of the Tentacle and Sam and Max hit the road, and then as it moved on, you got to like Full Throttle, and then of course the immortal Grim Fandango.
Yeah.
These early talkies,
those are kind of like the precursors to the Telltale games right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the voice work and everything they put in, brilliant. And of course the writing, and all of that stuff is just fantastic. And being able to tear that, I mean, I can't imagine like casting and putting that together back in the days of like tape. You know what I mean? There's a story, Virginia McSwain, who cast and directed, I think, I don't know about the second, but definitely like the first Baldur's Gate, things like that. They come to her with a ream of paper and say, these are the characters and the lines. We want to voice all this. And she said, how the hell do I do that? And BioWare said, I don't know. Have fun. And she came out of animation. And so what happens is, years ago I had to do a workshop with her, and she showed us the audition script that she created for Baldur's Gate. And it was just a series of 10 lines. There was one sheet for men, one sheet for women. And then there were descriptions of characters by each of those lines. And she just basically said, throw down, people. I want to hear what you got. Because she needed to cast a game of hundreds of characters with a relative, at that point, like a handful of actors. And so she invented this, and so she kind of like dropped it off by some of the animation people. Like, I know you guys are good for it, but I need you to not play it toony. I need you guys to play it as straight as possible. And even by today's standards, if you go play like the remastered Baldur's Gate, some of the acting in those games is still cartoony by today's standards.
Yeah.
By like Mass Effect standards, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But it's still played straight on user, and that's why you've got Jim Cummings as Minsk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I need my animation friends because I know you guys can throw down and give me 3 to 5 very distinct characters.
Sure.
So, the days of that and what they created and invented, the acting processes and the script processes. I'm very fortunate to kind of be standing on their shoulders. When I break down teaching effort sounds, people have done that. We now know, and there are students and people coming out of school aware of this thing. And when I say, give me a jumping sound, they know exactly what the heck to do because they've played those games, and we don't need to explore. And I think to myself, what was it like to explore and not have that common vocabulary and that common oral vocabulary of what a jumping sound sounds like.
Can you make a jumping sound?
Yeah, I was gonna.
I'm thinking like.
I was gonna.
I'm like boing.
I was gonna ask. I mean,
No.
Go ahead.
Like a jumping effort sound.
Oh yeah, I was
Jumping.
Oh,
So
A jumping effort. Yeah. A jumping effort is an upward inflecting effort noise.
like.
Nope, that's landing or being hit.
Okay.
It is a gathering up of energy, but there's
So
not
it's-
necessarily
so it's
a
like
release because that's a different sound.
almost like an inhale.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I honestly want you to teach me how to do this now. I can't not learn this.
Go for it. Go. Try.
So, all right, give me some direction. Hold on, I got to warm up. Me,
There you go.
me,
There you go.
me, me, me,
Wait.
me.
No.
I think I
you
just
got
did
it.
it. Yeah.
Voice. got it. Voice. Yeah. Yeah. And up, right? But you hear the music of the sound, right? An upward inflecting effort noise. I'm gathering up energy, and there's something like that, right? Fun fact: Master Chief doesn't make a jumping noise. Because he's Master Chief.
He's a beast. He don't need to make no noise.
You don't need to make no noise. That's right. But that and these sounds that kind of are meaningless. Like if you're trying to do a long jump, do you ever hear like the long jumpers in the Olympics? Make no, because you don't need to do that stuff. But in a game, there is a bit of artifice. We make up sounds for certain actions and things because the player needs the feedback.
Sure.
You need to know that button has been hit. You need to know that a jump has been executed. It's like, listen, I've played lots of Titanfall too.
It's a great game.
It's like you need to know when you are running versus sliding versus jumping, and when you've landed in that jump in order to execute the slide and bunny hop properly,
Sure.
And those are all very distinctive sounds. So they give you as much feedback as possible to play the game. And sometimes that's through animation. Sometimes that's through visual cues, like, how the sides or tops of the screens light up when damage is being, certain directions. And then orally. So we had to invent, what does a jumping sound like? Well, we've got that because people have done that. What does being hit in certain ways sound like? Well, we've got that. And so to stand on the shoulders of what like Virginia McSwain and other people have created, we're lucky.
Yeah.
So
Now
lucky.
that you mentioned that, I mean, I'm assuming in the upcoming game, you're probably doing some forearms here and there. In the studio, are you actually physically maybe doing some of these actions?
The way I do it, and everybody has their own method, is to, and because I also come from stage combat. So like when I was doing Shakespeare, it was like, slinging steel and things like that, swords and whatnot. But you do just enough of the physicality to get the idea across. Tense the muscles in a way, or make it, because otherwise they can hear your clothes moving, they can hear skin,
True.
they can hear whatever. Years ago, working on Daofang, a friend of mine was also on the game, and she's a stage combat person, and she's killer stage combat person. So she's in there to do like the, all right, you're going to get punched and hit. And she's like, I'm ready. Let's do this thing. And she takes her first hit to the face.
Oh my God.
And she flings her face, right? She goes, ugh, right? And it flings her face to the side. And the headphones shift on her head from her ears to the back of her head and her nose. And she was like, right, I can't do that.
Right.
Okay. So it's like, how do I get that idea and that feeling while still maintaining the proper relationship to the microphone and that space? So, everybody's got their own way of doing it, and some people less or more. But so you like, move an arm, tense a certain way, maybe hold something. So there's like a lot of techniques to it, but then some of it is just getting in there and doing it. Like those screams when people talk about, blowing their voices out, things like that. It's because sometimes there's if you don't go there far enough, we know it. We can hear it.
Yeah.
Certain pains ring true because you go there mentally and then physically scream in that way. And we won't buy it if you don't find that right place. Find that right bit of, it's not just being, there's not just pain when you're on fire, it's panic. Because there is no way to escape that pain.
Yeah.
Because you are the fuel for the fire. That's terrible.
So Tom, I just lit you on fire right now. Whoosh! Give me your fire. Give me your pain.
I'd wake the kids, even in the box. Even in the booth, I'd wake the kids with it.
All right then. I struck a match and I caught you by mistake on your shoulder. That's on point though. I mean, I couldn't do that.
Son of a.
Right. I'd be sitting here making James Brown noises. Like,
right.
I'd be going in right now.
Don't hit me with a match. Put it out. Right. I love James Brown.
Who does it?
Right?
Who does it?
I know, it's almost like I like chocolate, Something say, or that alcohol, what a great but James Brown.
That alcohol.
Right? James Brown, it's magic. It's magic in there.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. All right, let me hit you with a little rapid fire round.
All right.
Basically, I'm just gonna ask you like some quick questions, man. You got to give me, a response is as quick as you can. I'm not gonna tell you, you got to blurt out a response, but just something as quick as you can. All right, ready?
Okay. Yep.
All right. Did you save or kill the Arachnite Queen in Mass Effect 1?
Save.
Did you save or kill the Council in Mass Effect 1?
Save.
All right. We got 2 rounds of kiss, marry, or kill. Okay. First round. Ashley, Liara, Tally. Kiss, marry, kill.
Ashley, kiss. Liara, marry. Tally, I didn't kill her. I wouldn't dare.
Oh, you botched that. Botched that.
Didn't it? What?
You killed Tally just now.
I guess I did. If you're gonna break it down and make the choice that harsh, that's what I would say. That's
Good God, Tom.
Sorry. She was there.
I mean, I'll be
present.
I'll be honest with you. That was a hard one. That was
fair. Yeah.
I wasn't very fair. I'm sorry.
Tom gave her a hug and she got sick. Unfortunately, she got a.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, come on.
Bring it in, Tally. Bring it in, Tally. No, I did wash my hands. Why do you ask?
Round 2. Kiss, marry, kill. Caden, Garrus, Thane. Kiss, marry, kill. What's your pick?
All right. Okay. Kiss. No. All right. Kiss Caden. No.
Okay.
No. Kiss Thane, because that won't be a problem, right? There'll be no complications there.
Okay.
You marry Garrus, and you kill Caden, because that's what I did. Because there's only room for one biotic. Oh, you levitate. You levitate these? That's sweet. That is so sweet of you. That's very sweet of you. You don't need to.
Kaiden is my kill every damn time, bro. He's not living.
Never gets a break, this guy.
Oh man,
Poor Kate.
that's funny. All right, your preferred class in Mass Effect?
Was it biotic? Is that
Biotic.
adept? Biotic.
Adept
Yeah.
or Vanguard? I think right. Either or.
Well,
So biotic
Adept
is
I
fine.
think is like pure biotic.
Yeah, I think it was adept. It was adept.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
running around with pistols and submachine guns, and then just raising things in the air and exploding them and pushing them, and yeah, lots of gravity wells.
You were pushing Tally off cliffs, huh? You
No.
murderer.
I don't think I rolled with her during like a mission ever.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. There were a few times that I rolled with her, except for like I think the loyalty mission in Mass Effect 2, right?
Yep.
I think you pretty much had to.
Mhm.
No offense, Tally. I love you. You know, what I mean, you cool,
Yep.
but
But I think I remember doing that mission and going, "What is that thing? Did Tally, did you make this? I mean, that's a nice thing. I didn't know you made these things. Okay, so that's what you do. Like low floating. Okay, great, good job.
nice.
So now I have to, yeah.
All right, destroy, control, or synthesis at the end of Mass Effect 3.
Synthesis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like that. I don't know many people who, personally, I don't know many people who chose synthesis. So, but in theory, it's kind of like the most like body, like this. That's like the most hold hands, everybody. We love each other. We're together now, and in a sense, that could create like peace if we all understood each other a little bit better.
Yeah, I think I felt a little guilty at the end because like Joker comes out and there's no Edie. You know what I mean? It's like maybe she's like synthesized because he's like glowing now, right?
Yeah.
They got like that metallic sheen to them.
Sure.
So I felt there's like a little bit of, oh right, she would. Okay, sorry, Joker. But yeah, that was kind of my take, and I think also the binary choice was obvious.
Mhm.
Like I can go this way or this way.
Yeah.
Like visually as you're going, and so to find that oh wait, there's a middle way in the middle here that I could go was kind of and that was kind of, I think the part of my decision was, well, it's obvious I go this way and this happens, or this way and this oh wait, there's a middle way. Well, all right, I'll do that. That seems like the path less taken. There might be less taken.
Boys, what did you go with?
I went with destroy.
Destroy. Yeah.
That's the one where I think everyone that was on Earth pretty much was stranded on Earth. So I guess the
Yeah.
way I looked at it is, well, all of these different races here on Earth, these different aliens, and they don't have the mass relays, but they can just kind of start anew at least.
Yeah.
It would be this new society, humans,
Mhm.
Brogans, Turians,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. It's just, I don't want to risk the chance of the Reapers ever coming back somehow. I mean, some sort of Reaper uploads himself into a USB thumb drive at some point.
What are you doing sticking thumb drives in strange computers? Don't do that. But then the Reaper's like, oh shit, I'm in a Mac. I can't do anything with it.
Closed source.
Right. Can't do anything with this.
Oh man, the hate is real right now. I'm sitting here on the Mac right now, Tom.
This booth runs off of a ancient MacBook Pro.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be jumping ship next chance I get. But I picked destroy because I'll keep it a $150 with you guys, man. Ain't no way I'm gonna spend 3 games fighting those bum ass Reapers and not kill them. Ain't no way. They killed me once. They took my life. They separated me from the love of my life, Tom.
Yeah.
The hell ain't no way they was gonna live. They were gonna live.
And they killed that kid at the beginning of 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, little Haley Joel Osment, man. They killed that little kid.
I see.
Come on, man. You can't kill them. You got your boy. What's the thing he used to say? Seize control. What's the thing? He used to like take control of like Harbinger.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you first meet him, he says we are Legion.
You know how
Assuming
scary.
direct control.
Yeah.
Yes. You know how scary that dude was.
Yep.
The first second I get to kill any of them, I'm taking it. They all die. Everybody goes.
I get it.
Favorite Mass Effect game, Tom?
One.
One.
Nice.
Interesting.
I talked about with the BioWare crew earlier. They're like, "What's your favorite moment from Mass Effect games?" And it was like the whole thing of one, because it's just that setup. There was no game that looked like it at that point,
Sure.
and there was definitely nothing that sounded like it.
Yes.
That I mean, and because that sound, even beyond it, like they didn't use it the rest of it. Like Jack Wall and Hewlett's score and everything, it's like that did not. That feel was there, but that sound did not necessarily carry through as the game got bigger and more epic. It required the music that they composed for the later games. You know, those later games required it, but that first one, that just had that stamp. You know, and then that film grain, which you can turn that off. It's like, no, I left it on.
Oh yeah, film grain is always on, definitely.
Because it just it cemented it as this as something different. You know, I mean, and that set up everything else that was to come. There was just nothing that looked like it and sounded like it, and it was 5-part Star Wars, a little bit Battlestar Galactica before that was a big thing again, and Star Trek, but like it was like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek before the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
We sort of have a utopian thing, but we're still fighting. It's the original, Star Trek's just like, well, we're going to do a Western in space. And there was a lot of that, but it still had that kind of strange 70s sci-fi milieu. There was just so much in there that they were kind of hammering out and just trying stuff because, again, nobody had done anything. It was unexplored territory. And I loved it. That music just takes me back. The first few months of going to sessions, I would listen to the music from the first Mass Effect game before heading into the studio. Like I'd switch over from what I was listening to, like the last 15 minutes, just hit some tracks from that first game just to go, okay, Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1.
That's awesome because BioWare has said that this Mass Effect Andromeda has taken such inspiration from Mass Effect 1 and the exploration aspect of things, and soundtrack wise, I mean, I like the the whole epic Mass Effect 2 theme, the dun, 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 dun. Like it's hot, it's hot, but I love and boys can attest to this, the end track for Mass Effect 1, man.
Oh, phenomenal.
Yep. Right?
I still get goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still get goosebumps hearing that.
Nothing like it.
Fonts Part 2. I think that's what it's called.
Yep. And to the epicness of the later games, that I don't know what the note is or whatever, but I reached out and whose is this? That's amazing. So I think the Rachni referred to the Reapers the sour note.
Yeah.
And it's that same note that he uses in the score that they use as the sound of the giant death ray. Wah. And it's that I forget what it is. It's the opening of the Mass Effect 3 soundtrack.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's the light piano leading into wah.
Yeah, I think it's the soundtrack to Earth when it's being destroyed.
Yeah, Leaving Earth is the name of that track.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Leaving Earth, and that the fact that sound of the beam is this timed, and it's the sound of in the soundtrack of the score. It's the same note, and the Rachni referred to them as the sour note. And I was like, ooh, wow, really? That's amazing stuff. And I loved that. That's obviously stuck with me.
Yeah.
That realization that all those things came together, and I love that. It's awesome.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Favorite video game franchise of all time?
Crap.
You're on the clock here, Tom.
I know.
You have to pick something. You can't, no cop-outs here.
I think because of when it was and how important it was, and I learned that I was an angry, frustrated gamer, which is why I love, but I've never completed a Dark Souls game because I'm a controller thrower. And this game taught me to throw, but I still just have the absolute a love for this series for a lot of reasons.
Oh,
The Wing Commander saga,
Mm.
the Wing Commander games. I built rigs in order to play them. I upgraded in order to get those things in there. And then when they switched over to full motion video, nobody was doing that, you know.
Yeah.
And just I want to say it's like high school through early college. It was just such a chunk of my game playing time spent on those games.
Yeah.
And an important time too. There are other things like the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter series.
Yeah.
Adore. And like anything LucasArts in that 90s put out there, you know, and love that stuff. But if you're talking series, I think that one's probably the one that sticks with me for, even if they're like not the best games, it's just love it.
You're talking to the voice over here. It's the Dark Souls aficionado of the BGB, man, of the Better Game Bureau, man.
I'm a big fan. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm a masochist because that first Dark Souls, I don't know. I did not give up. I started as green can be, and I just kept at it. I mean, but that's just another franchise. We're all fans of RPGs here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome action RPG with a pretty cool story if you take the time to kind of just look into it.
Well, there's nothing like it, you know. Visually, it's striking, and I enjoy watching like the best of the best play it, and I enjoy watching people stumble through it.
Yeah.
You know, because of all of those things, and just these places, and these worlds, and you know, the first time you head up to Orlando, and you know, it's just and the realization that, oh, this thing is really big, and I'm dead. Okay, and the scale. I think it's beautiful in that sense. There is a beauty to those games that is unmatched. A horrible beauty.
Yeah, definitely. All right, favorite video game character of all time.
Ooh,
me is not an option.
No.
Like Scott Ryder. No, can't pick that.
I love
That's
me.
yours.
I love me in this game. Gosh, what was it? And it might be because of when I played it. It would, and things like that. I want to. No, it would be a toss up. So I'm gonna say Ben from Full Throttle.
Huh. Okay.
Look it up. Go whatever. That's Tim Schafer and his crew from Ben from Full Throttle. There was just something about that game and that time. I bought in a time when you had to mail order stuff. I bought the T-shirt. I mail ordered for the album, that the band. There was the music in the game that was from an actual band, and I ordered their album.
Oh man, you went in
via mail. Yeah, I loved everything about that game. It just clicked, and the acting, the characters, the jokes, all of it. That one was just something else. I hadn't played anything like it. It just felt really awesome to, like, whatever teen-year-old I was. Oh yeah, love that one. Can't beat a Corley. Love that game. So yeah, I think Ben from Full Throttle of all things.
Okay.
It's one that sticks with me. Yeah. Deep cuts,
man. Well, Tom, it's been a genuine pleasure, man. Like, this has been one of the funnest podcasts I think I've ever done, man. It's a privilege to hear you speak about your trade and your craft and your love for video games, man. So thank you so much. And from the BGB family, thank you. And good luck with the release of Mass Effect Andromeda 2, man. I mean, it's coming up sometime next year. So
exactly. Sometime next year.
Spring 2017, as they've now narrowed down.
After seeing that trailer, I wish I could play it right now, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not just saying that because you're here, Tom.
No, I do too. That was something else. You know, a lot of times when you guys are seeing video for the first time, that is the first time we are seeing it too.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter you were like, "Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen that."
Oh yeah. That was the first time I'd ever seen that was the first time I'd ever seen Drac.
Yeah,
that was the first time. I want to say that was the first time I'd seen a fully formed Vetra. Things like that, and gameplay Yeah, we've seen like maybe like some walking, stuff, but that's it. And so we were working on something, and they were like, "Do you want to see what? Do you want to see what we're going to show tonight?" And we're like, "Yeah," because we're not going to get a chance to see it. We're here and doing whatever, and we watched that, just going, "Holy crap!" And Frida sounded awesome. She sounds so badass, right?
She did, man.
Drop it. You first. I'm like, yeah, Frida. She kills it. She's so tough. She's so awesome. So yeah, I mean, you really want it. This is you say you're gonna put, Hazy, you say you're gonna put in like 80 hours. This will warrant it, because you do New Game Plus and you switch riders, and it will be things will be similar, but it'll be a different game. It'll be a different relationship that you have with, Scott versus Sarah. It's the performances, I think, are that different, and they've done it that way, and very well too.
I know you guys got the skills to match though, because she made that turn that was holding her, had the gun in her face. She made her look like a bum, man. She made her look like a bum.
Yeah,
she just took the gun from him like nothing. He was like, I guess that's the end of that. I was like, you're a Tyrion, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And to see these things and these characters and stuff that I kind of imagine in my head.
Yeah.
Drac with like the bone armor, and you're just like, look at that. Yeah. It's all in our heads until they show it to us.
Awesome,
and then sometimes you go, oh, okay. I need to do better than what I've been giving you, because this looks phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, Tom, tell people where they can find you on social media, man. Tell people where they can check you out, and then drop some other things you've worked on, some audiobooks if you like that you've worked on, man, so people can check you out, man. Support, show some love.
I am on Twitter at Taylorson, and then I do have a Facebook page. Just look up Tom Taylorson or Tom Taylorson Voice, and I believe I'm still on the World Wide Web at www.tomtaylorson.com. And other things that I've worked on, of course, Octodad, Young Horses, Octodad, the indie darling out of Chicago, Illinois. And you can find me and Frida in that. Wonderful game. They're working on their next one. Other than that, the audiobook thing, if you go to audible.com, or the great people at Blackstone Audio have their own portal called Downpour. That's DOWNPOUR.com, Downpour. Everything that I have ever done audiobook wise is with the phenomenal people at Blackstone Audio, and you can just search for my name and find all sorts of stuff that I've done. Nonfiction, lots of mystery, things like that. The Archer Mayer novels about Joe Gunther of the BBI, and his team of people. And I will have, and there's more coming. I'm trying to find out if I can talk about some other stuff that I'm doing, and I don't know yet. That would be pretty kind of cool. And I've got some other stuff on the horizon, maybe not big stuff, but like more game related stuff on the way. That is not Mass Effect, which is very, very cool. So yeah, but if just day to day, garbage, at Taylorson.
Day-to-day garbage.
Well, it is. It's garbage. I try to talk. I try to talk to the fans, things like that. There's nobody else managing my thing. It's just me. So and Frida and I are great about kind of bopping back and forth with people. While saying NDA half the time.
I mean, I follow you both on Twitter, man. You guys have dope Twitter accounts, man. You guys are some of my favorite people that I've recently followed, man. Like straight up, like it's not trash. It's good. It's great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we try. We try. I try to. Yeah, and now it's like I should probably stop talking about beer. I got a lot of like underage people following now. Yeah, let's lay off the craft beer and kind of play up the family angle. Yeah, that's good. That's a good wholesome angle.
Man, thank you so much, Tom. And as usual, you can. Oh, of course, man. Thank you. As usual, you can find the Get Coins or Die Trying podcast on the bgb.com. You can also find it on youtube.com/GCDT We're also on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play Music. You can find me, HazyRome, on Twitter at HazyRome. You can find DeepBoyce on Twitter at DeepBoyce. That's DEEPBOYCE. Hey, and you can follow. That's you. You can follow the official account of the official BGB Twitter account at the BGB.com. Stizzle Stock, DeepBoyce, aka Stizzle Stock. That's his Star Wars name, by the way, Tom.
Oh yeah.
That's his Star Wars name. Stizzle Stock.
That was from
You put it into a generator.
Online,
Yeah.
That's the best name I've ever heard. But Stizzle Stock, sign us out.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you for indulging us in this. I mean, this is just
No problem, man.
beyond awesome. And yeah, hopefully everyone out there, all the Bioware fans, everyone listening, definitely check it out and show your love. Show your love to Tom and Frida and everybody at Bioware. And pre-order that game. Pre-order that game. So,
Yeah.
see you guys on the next one. Stizzo is signing you guys out.
All right, guys. You already know. Go out there and get some hashtag chicken parm, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. I stole that from Big Red, man. Look at me. I am the captain now. I am the captain now. We'll see you guys later, man.